Hello Flosstube! My name is Claire and this is my Flosstube video number 5, I think. It's been a while since I last put up a video, basically most of the school summer holidays in the UK. I know in the US you were all talking about your kids going back to school already, like near the beginning of August, and ours don't go back until September. So I've got another week and a bit, I think, to go, and then they'll be back at school. I love my children dearly. In fact, my 4-year-old is starting school in September. She'll be starting in reception. And it's going to be hard to see her go, but at the same time, I'm like, time to go back to school now. It's fine. But since I last saw you, I have not really had much time for stitching. So I think I've totaled up about 9 different projects that I've been stitching on in that time. And the reason for that is because I've been camping twice, and we've been up to my parents', and I think I've only had kind of the odd 2 or 3 days in between those to be at home. And so in that time I have focused on like my main focus pieces, or just doing the laundry and things that you have to do in between holidays. So not much stitching time. And every time I pick up a needle, one of my kids is like, "Can I help?" "Yes, dear." So that slows it down to about 5 stitches an hour. Yeah. But it's cute. It's time spent with them, and I love it, and I love them. Enough now. School. Okay. So what have I been doing? Well, by the way, in case you're thinking she looks a little bit kind of banged up at the moment, I am. So I don't know if you can tell in the light. I've got a big bruise. It's got a bit yellow now. Big bruise around there. I was part of a group of leaders that took about 17 teenagers camping last week to a youth Christian festival called Soul Survivor down in Devon. And there are about 8,000 of them all in this giant big top for on the last night kind of celebration. So everyone was excited. I was stupid. I sat down, which is what, you know, we all did at most of these celebrations, but some of my youth still were standing, and a giant inflatable ball came our way, and one of our big 16-year-old strapping lads leapt for the ball, didn't see me, and knee to the face, completely took me down. All I knew was that my head exploded with pain and I was on the floor until someone was picking me up and you know, doing all kind of first aid and stuff. And I had to go and get it checked to see if they'd broken the bone of my eye socket or anything like that, and concussion, because I was a bit dizzy and stuff. I was fine. And the poor lad, bless him, I mean, he's like, you know, quite sturdily built. He's like got muscles. He's been doing backflips all week. He's that kind of physical kind of guy. He was broken. He just sat there. He was like, "I'm so sorry. Can I get you a hot chocolate? Can I help you with your tent? Can I come with you to the medical place?" And all that kind of stuff. And I was like, "No, it's fine. Just enjoy it. I'll be all right." So bless him. I had to kind of do a lot of reassuring that it was okay while I was in absolute pain. Why do I do youth work? But it was a fantastic week. They are brilliant, brilliant teenagers, and I love it. Got no stitching done, obviously, for the entire week. But I did do some in between my holidays and bits like that. So I will show you what I've got done. Firstly, I've been focusing a lot on my celestial companions, my dragon. I have done like this bit of page 10. I'm going to try and get page 10 done by the end of September. I don't think I'm going to make it, but I'm going to give it a try. My problem is, if I focused on just this, I would probably do it. But then I would get burned out and bored, and I would miss all my other projects. So I still need to keep stitching on my other projects, but I do need to really blitz this as well. I might need to change my plans for this, because I was kind of thinking that I could do a page every 3 months. That might really be pushing it. I might have to change that. But then this portion of the 3 months isn't really a good acid test for whether or not that would work, since I haven't really had much chance to stitch over the summer. So I might give it, I want to get this whole row done by the end of the year, and then I'll reevaluate then. So that's, isn't he beautiful? Now I've finished his face, he started talking to me. He's like, hey baby. Yeah, he's lovely. I love him. And that is what he's going to be looking like. And it's by Molly Harrison, Celestial Companions by Molly Harrison, and that's a Heaven and Earth design. And then I've had a couple of my like secondary main projects. So this is my Guardian by Teresa Wentzler, and I've spent a couple of hours on him, I think. I can't even remember what I'd done since I last showed you, but I've probably done some of the sky. I know I've done some of his face. Her dragons, Teresa Wentzler's dragons, are so colourful and so beautiful. I love them. I've also done some more of the border. I've just started doing some outlining on it, because if you leave the outlining on Teresa Wentzler borders till the end, you go a little bit nuts. So it is best to kind of do them as you go. So, been working on him, and look at the colours in him. Isn't he stunning? Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Love him. So I'm working on him, and one of my other secondary focuses was Blushing Rose, by, who's she by? Karen Vinson, Heaven and Earth Designs. She's out of print at the moment, retired. And what I was working on was this block here, which is just your pink and your Krynic and your pink and your Krynic and your pink and your Krynic. So next time she comes up in my rotation, I will be back to working on her. What I tend to do is I do the detail of her, and then the next time it'll be this one. Then I go back to the detail, then the next time it'll be this side, and do that, because they do need to get done, but they are boring. I much prefer working on her hair and the flowers that's beginning to appear. So that's her. She's so lovely. She's so nice. My 6-year-old wants me to finish her this year. I'm like, no. Maybe for her 18th birthday or something. What else have I been working on Saturdays? And I have to say to Terry, you know who you are. Thank you for putting a Saturday sal in our group, inspired by me and my Saturday piece. So thank you very much. I feel very flattered about that. But this is my Saturday piece. Not that you can tell from that what it is, but that's a tail. And I'm getting more and more done working on her. I took this to my parents with me, so she got some love then. And this is my Jewel of the Sea. There, so I'm actually not bad. I'm down to about there. Yeah, I'm not going to finish her this year, but I don't care. I'll just keep stitching on her on Saturdays until she's done. And then I've kind of ignored all the stitch-alongs over the summer. Not because I don't want to do them, but because I just haven't had time. So I've been doing a couple of rotation pieces, and I'm on the bees at the moment. And rotation pieces at the moment, I'm giving them a few days each and then swapping. So this is one I started for Stitch Mania this year, and this is Big Ben by All Our Yesterdays from DMC. So that's the Big Ben, and that's as far as I've got working on the clock. So I quite like it. In this picture, Big Ben is done in half crosses and the foreground is done in full crosses. And I don't really like that. I can get why they've done it, and I will do the sky in half crosses and I'll do the bushes in half crosses. But I think Big Ben itself, I don't like it in half crosses, so I'm doing full crosses for Big Ben, because I kind of want it to stand out a bit. So that's Big Ben. That's as far as I've got on that one. That will come up again in months and months' time. And the other rotation piece that I've got too is my Blue Rose Heaven and Earth design. This was a bulletin board stitch along a few years ago, which I started then and then didn't get very far on. So isn't she beautiful? She is by Meredith Dillman, and this one isn't available anymore because it was a stitch along, but the big size of her, I mean she's huge, is still available on their site. And I'm doing her on blue 28 count 1/1, and that's as far as I've got with her so far. And she's lovely. Thing is, with these Heaven and Earth designs, every time I pick them up, I just want to stitch and stitch and stitch on them and not put them down. But I feel like that about all of them, so I need multiple copies of myself. And I was working on this one for the Summer Sunshine sale, and it was also, at the end of the alphabet, You Are My Sunshine with the Y. This was also, came up in my rotation. So, You Are My Sunshine. And that's as far as I've got before it goes away. Probably for quite a while now. You can see the yellow better. The yellow is bright, like in your face, full on bright. There, that's probably as good as you're going to get. So there's that one, and that is Stitch Rovia, You Are My Sunshine. I've got the others in the series as well, and they will turn up at some point, probably Stitch Mania next year. Don't know. Beginning to make Stitch Mania plans. And people have been talking about it this week on the Facebook group. What are your Stitch Mania plans going to be? So I've begun to put some plans together, because I think I'm going to have to start kitting up very slowly, otherwise it's going to be expensive in April. It's not going to work. Right, what else? Oh, I have actually made time to stitch on this one over the summer because I am loving it. Really loving it. Spooked by Lizzie Kate. It's my first mystery Lizzie Kate. I do have the patterns for some of the others. And this is nearly completed part 1. And then part 2 and part 3 will go along here. I do have part 2. That's part 1 with the beads. Part 2 doesn't give anything else away. The big reveal picture is on the front of part 3, which I have not got yet, and I'm stalking the Patchwork Rabbit website, waiting for it to pop up. So, got that one. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, I did make one alteration. The kind of white, khaki kind of ghost thread, the Weeks Dye Works, that came with the kit, got completely lost on this fabric, which is Ale by Picture This Plus, which is also the recommended fabric. So I swapped it out for something else, and I can't remember what I swapped it out for. It's another variegated, I think it might be a Gentle Arts, which shows up slightly more, because I think the Ada Ale is slightly lighter than the linen, so that's why it was getting lost. The thread probably won't get lost if you use the Ale linen, but because the Ada is lighter, it was. So pretty. I enjoyed stitching on that a lot. It's not my usual style because it's so simple and I'm like into the big detailed stuff. So I don't know if that's why I'm enjoying it so much, but I really am. The other kind of stitch along, not that that's a stitch along, but you know, it's coming out monthly. My other monthly one is the Lakeside Needlecraft Fantasy Stitch Along. And I really haven't had a chance to do very much stitching on it. So I need to just sit down and blitz August. So that is the outline, the border. And each of those circles is going to be filled in over the next 12 months. And this one here is August. And August is the Pegasus, which is lovely. I have to say my daughters particularly like this one. They're into ponies and unicorns and Pegasus and stuff at the moment, and the colours are perfect for them. So that's lovely, but I not got very far. Still just got my 3 circles, my bit of border and a bit of the rainbow. So hopefully when school starts again, I'll be able to put some more time in on that. Now, that was all I've been working on over the last, like, I don't know, 5-6 weeks. Which is not very much. Not like me at all. I'm normally got projects coming out my ears. So, hopefully, things will start to get back to normal when the kids are back at school and, you know, plans get into place. So, today, tomorrow and Wednesday, because today is Monday, in one of the groups that I'm in, there is an end of August super challenge, which is to do a new start today, tomorrow and Wednesday. So 3 new starts, and at the same time, complete 500 stitches on any other piece over those 3 days. So, I have decided to do 3 starts, and the first start I did start this morning, and that's the Ink Circles Little Alien Schoolgirl, which I kitted up a little while ago now, and I've been waiting for the right moment to start it. I love it. It's brilliant. And one of the brilliant things about it, I haven't got it out at the moment, is it comes with a sheet that says what we think we can see, or what we think we're looking at. And then it tells you what each of the motifs might be. Like this one, they're like, are they growing eyes? And then there's robots, and that one's just called Squid Boy. Love Squid Boy. And I've started on some of the flora down the side, and that just says it's alien flora. That's it. And this Ada, this is 18 count Ada, and it's kind of mottled. I can't even remember what it's called, vintage mocha or something like that. And I got it from so-and-so. It was quite cheap, and it's obviously sprayed because it's not got the mottling on the other side. It's just on one side. Don't know if you can see it in this light, but it looks a bit like an old parchment type thing, which is what I wanted this sampler to look like. So that's Little Alien Schoolgirl. I started that this morning, so that's today's new start. I'll do a little bit more on that, and then the 500 stitches will be on Celestial Companions because I'm going to blitz it. Then tomorrow's new start. Now, tomorrow and Wednesday, the new starts really depend on whether my fabric from so-and-so arrives tomorrow. I'm really hoping that it does, otherwise I'll have to improvise something. But hopefully what I will be doing is a Teresa Wentzler tomorrow, and it's the dragon there, this one, and it's called Above the Clouds. Beautiful green and gold dragon. Massive dragon over a tiny castle. And that'll be beautiful. I haven't been stitching enough Teresa Wentzlers lately, so there's that one. And then Wednesday, another Teresa Wentzler. You Were Hatched. So there's a mummy dragon and her little baby. And the baby's gone, where do I come from? So, and that's a limited edition one that I got hold of. And it's beautiful. So this is not available anymore, but if you kind of hunt around, there are still a few available, but there are only 1,000 ever printed. So I was really, really lucky to get hold of one. So there we go. So those are my new starts this week, and then 500 stitches on Celestial Companions. Yay! And I was absolutely gutted actually that Stitch Mania did an Olympics stitch along. So every day of the Olympics you could pick a different piece to stitch on that was related to the theme. So for the colour rings, you know, there was a red day and a green day and a blue day, and then there was an aquatics event where you could stitch on something with water in it and things like that. And I had it all planned out, what pieces I was going to stitch. And then I was at home for I think 3 days of the Olympics, and I was away all the rest of the time, and it just didn't happen. And I was like, I even thought about doing my own stitching Olympics following it like later on, but I thought, no, the moment has passed, it's fine. And then I noticed that Stitch Mania have enjoyed that so much that they've put together 2 more very similar type of stitching challenges. So in the end of October, there's going to be one in the run-up to the American election. For 2 weeks, you can pick on a different whip every day, following a theme. And then there's another one called the 12 Days of Stitchmas, which is the 12 Days of Christmas. So you follow the 12 Days of Christmas song over Christmas. So I'm planning on participating in both of those as much as I can, because I was very sad to miss the Olympics, and they are fantastic stitch-alongs, and I love that group so much. So if you're not in Stitch Mania, look it up on Facebook. It's brilliant. So much fun. Right, now we're moving on to haul. I do buy a lot of stuff, I've realised. One of my groups has got a kind of a stash diet for 2017, and I kind of contemplated it because I've probably got enough for the rest of my life. But then I thought, but then I'll see nice things and I'll want them. So I probably won't take part in stash diet. So what did I get? This one, I blame you lot. Flosstubers. Would never have thought about this if it wasn't for you. Not that one. Prairie Schooler Alphabet. The whole lot. Yes, I did. I got them. Totally blame you lot. Absolutely gorgeous though, seeing it done. And I love that there's got like little snippets of humour in there as well. And my plan is to stitch these over 1 on 28 count. I think Orietta's doing over 1. I haven't yet figured out what kind of orientation I'm going to have them in. I don't think I'm going to do it 3 lots of 9, because there's 27 pieces, because they've got the ampersand as well. Yeah, they've got the ampersand as well as all the letters. So I'm figuring out what kind of orientation I want it, because ideally I want it to fit in a scroll frame. And if I have it 9 by 3, the scroll frame is going to have to be like this big. And I don't put my scroll frames on a stand. I kind of have them in hand. So that will be just too big for me. So I have to figure out how I'm going to do them. And then I thought that each one of these would be a separate start. Like the Stash Queen is doing them as a separate start each time. And so that will help me whenever I need a new start. And because Stitch Mania are doing, the year of starts next year are doing it, I think it's a new start every 18th of the month. Might have got that wrong, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's 1 start every month. I thought I would use these to do that. So I need to figure it out so I can get the fabric and start kitting it all up. Love it. And I love that it's got a mermaid. M is for mermaid. M is for mermaid. Like mermaids. So there's that one. So I bought that. And most of them are still freely available, even though the Prairie Schooler is no longer trading. But there was just 2 of them that are not available on 123 Stitch. They're not available on So and So. They're not available on anywhere that I could find them. And so I Googled madly and found a random little stitching shop somewhere in America that had them in stock. And I was emailing saying, have you got these? And she was emailed back and said yes. And I said, well, how much are they to post to the UK? And she said, I don't know. I'll go to the post office and I'll find out and get back to you. So I was like, great. So she went and she did that and she posted them to me. And now I'm a little bit kind of a cynic lately getting things from the United States. So I thought I'm going to wait until they actually pop through my door before I get all of the others that I can get from so-and-so. And then it took about 2 or 3 weeks and then they arrived and I was like, yay! So I've got the really rare ones. Now I need all the others. So I got those in one hit from so-and-so. So I got the whole lot. So my advice is, if you want to do them, but you're a bit annoyed because you can't get them all from like 123 Stitch and stuff, just Google around, and obviously some little places do still have the other ones in stock. Right, what else did I get? eBay is my friend. I do love eBay. Mirabilia's The Petal Fairy. I think I got this for like £2. And I love her. So she is gorgeous. And then some of my mermaid addiction is showing now. So that's Waiting for Ships. She might have to be a next year start. Along with the Mermaids of the Deep. And then I have Mermaid of the Pearls. So she's pretty as well. But I like the colours in that one better. Her tail is phenomenal in that picture. So, I don't know. I like this one better, I think. And then since I was on a mermaid kick, I thought I might as well. Joan Elliott, Belle de la Mer. I'm not a huge Joan Elliott fan, but some of the things that I've seen do kind of call to me, and this is one of them. There's that one. And then Doreen Jones did Mermaid in the World of Cross Stitching at some point. This was just this pattern on eBay, so I got that. And Doreen Jones is doing the Lakeside Needlecraft Fantasy Stitch Along, so I quite like her cartoony style. So I got that. So that's my mermaid hit. Then Blackbird Designs, Be My Valentine. I thought that was a little sweet one. And I picked it up for pennies on eBay. Nobody else bid on it. Most of these little ones I get because I bid the absolute minimum and then just leave them and see what happens. And most of them I don't get. Somebody else comes along and like bids 20p more and they get them. But sometimes I don't. This one finally arrived. Finally. Singer Sampler Part 1. Yay! I've got all 4 of them now. So next year, definitely gonna start these. And with these, I was getting so fed up that I could not, for love nor money, get a hold of this particular chart. So I emailed the designer and I said, please, are you going to reprint it? Because lots of people are after it and it's really beautiful and we would love it. And not expecting to hear anything back whatsoever. And she emailed back and said, thank you for your kind words. And yes, I'm sending them to the printers next week. Yes. So, she obviously did, because this arrived from Stitching Bits and Bobs a couple of weeks later. And I have it all. So I will start. I also, with Stitching Bits and Bobs, I can't show you because it's an actual chart. But I got 2 little mini free charts with it as well. As a kind of little thank you. Maybe a, sorry you have to wait for months and months and months. I've got that now. So that's good. Then, Katie the Stash Queen, your fault. You did a flip through. She did a flip through of this Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition of 2014. Yeah, 2014. And I liked the look of quite a lot of the things in it. That was quite cute. But the thing that made me go out and buy it was the Ink Circles, is it Ghostly Mandala, which is that one. And I've seen it before and I think it's really clever. And what I'm planning on doing is getting some 28 count even weave in that's glow in the dark. And you can get them from... it's 123 Stitch have got it. I haven't seen it in the UK. So if anybody knows where you can get it from in the UK, let me know. Because I won't be kitting this up quite yet. But I'm going to do it on glow in the dark. And I'm going to do it over 1. So it'll be quite small. But I do like it a lot. So I'm getting more and more into Ink Circles. I really like the way that she designs things with her little sense of humour. There. It's really beautiful. Nearly there. It's alright. If you're sticking with me, you're doing well. Just 3 little house needleworks ones I picked up off eBay. Season of Love. It was cute little loving snowmen. Behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy. These are little cute ones. And then this one, the Birdhouse Alphabet, which I think is quite cute, also came with the buttons and the thread to do it, which is silk. Belsoir silk all to do it, and that I got that really cheaply as well. So I thought, yeah, nice. So do that one, and then my last stash acquisition is a Teresa Wentzler that I don't own. Not very many of those. And this is an old magazine pattern. It says Tea and Tarts. I was like, aye aye. But it's got loads of hardanger in it, which I've never done and scares me a little bit. So I need to have a practice, maybe have a look for a YouTube video on hardanger before I tackle this. It's not going to be tackled anytime soon. I've got many Teresa Wentzlers that are in the queue ahead of this one. But now I have it, and it is pretty. So that is all my haul. There's quite a lot, but it is over like 5 or 6 weeks. Don't judge me. Plans. What are my plans going to be? Looking at my notebook. I'm going to continue stitching on Celestial Companions. I'm going to try and get that page done by the end of September. I'm going to fail, but I'm going to try anyway. Why not? And I'm also going to be stitching on The Guardian, and the next kind of secondary one that I'm going to be, secondary main, I have weird categories for my cross stitches, is Ex Machina, which that's where I am at the moment on page 1. That's the beginning of the clock. Not a huge amount done, especially when you look at how big it is. So going to be stitching a little bit more on her, hopefully. And then in my rotation, the Blushing Rose Karen Vinson Fairy comes up in my rotation, and then Bubble Fairy Cat Face, which is another Heaven and Earth Designs. It's a quick stitch, and she is beautiful. And I completely forgot to pull out the picture of what she's going to look like finished, but basically that's a cat head and another wing there, and that's it. But she is lovely. And oh, Yarnivore, what's her name, Sadie Ruin, is fantastic channel. I love her, she is so funny. But she is also stitching this on 18 count, and I think she's further ahead on it than I am now, because she's actually stitching on it, whereas this one is sitting in the cupboard. But I love the colours, and I'm looking forward to spending a week with this one in the near future. So that's it. That is all I have to show you.